What's going on, everyone? And happy Wednesday. Another new day and another yearly high for the stock market. In today's video, we're going to cover what the stock market's doing right now, some great setups for tomorrow, and of course, we have to talk about these crypto stocks that have just been blasting higher than any other stock in the market lately. So we have a great video today, and towards the end, we have a monster big money trade today to like the tune of like almost $9 million. So you better stick with us all the way to the end. But with that being said, Tom, let's jump right into it.
Yeah, Mike, the overall market was very mixed today. You know, if we go look at the S&P 500, overall it actually ended up being a pretty good green day, but it wasn't super explosive. You guys can see how it was very choppy. If you would have been buying off the 475 to 475.20 support, you would have done pretty good today. But if you weren't buying off support, it was going to be a pretty tough day to trade here on the SPY. Like a few stocks did great. You know, Tesla ended up popping off. But, you know, we go look at these bigger stocks in the market like Apple, they were having a pretty rough morning before that big recovery end of day. Same thing with Microsoft. Pretty rough day overall. So, but Mike, like you mentioned, there was a very hot spot that everyone's been watching in the market lately, and it is Bitcoin. Whether you're looking at Bitcoin itself or a bunch of these ETFs, it's been starting to heat back up a little bit here in the short term. Specifically, Mara, RIOT, and Coinbase have been on fire. Like if we go out to the daily chart on like Coinbase, it just, Mike, I am blown away here at the daily chart. You just see straight up green candles, and at this point, we're pushing well over 100%. I mean, how high is it going to get?
Yeah, seriously. It's like, you know, whether you're looking at Coinbase or Mara or any other like crypto related stock, like they have literally been running like so much more than any other stock in the market. Mara alone, from basically the beginning, you could say the end of November all the way to today, has basically 3x, you know, and like from recent lows, it was even more. So, you know, the momentum is right in the crypto space right now, and there's like a bunch of hype with, you know, the potential new Bitcoin spot ETF as well. So that's a whole nother thing worth noting.
It really is, Mike, and they're looking at dates on this ETF getting approved, and a lot of people are looking between like January 5th through the 10th. I've seen a lot of articles and different people suggesting this. If we actually go look at Reuters here, they actually talk about by January 10th here, and this goes in line with the proposal from ARK and 21 shares. So that's going to be pretty big here, Mike. If they do actually approve this, you know, you would expect that maybe Bitcoin will keep exploding, or will this be one of those buy the rumor, sell the news type of events, Mike? Kind of like we've seen with marijuana in the past with Canada's legalization and a few other big events in history as well, where we see these huge run-ups, and then once the news actually unfolds, then we see like a big crash or a big pullback come through.
Yeah, that's a great point there. You know, there have been many times in market history where it's like, you know, a stock or area of the market gets so much hype before the event, and then once the event happens, it's, you know, it loses its magic, you can say. But for the time being, there still is some time before we get the official answer from the feds. And another thing worth noting is the momentum is here right now. So on a day-by-day basis, when you see just like overwhelming bullish momentum, just like we saw today, there's a ton of scalp potential, just no matter what. Especially in situations like this one, you have to make sure your risk is managed. The last thing you want to do is get caught buying, you could say, Coinbase up here at the top at 185, and the next thing you know, it starts pulling back. So no matter what with these setups, make sure you protect yourself. And as long as you're willing to do that, you know, there's a whole bunch of opportunities when these stocks have the bullish momentum that they've had over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, it seems like every time lately that these stocks start to break recent highs, they go on these big runs. Like Coinbase today, you know, it was actually consolidating for a couple of days, and then once we got that break this morning, it was like, I mean, somebody like the floodgates opened or something, right? Like it was a ton of buyers came in, and the reason is, you know, that'll show up on tons of scanners all across the market with that high coming in, and then starts to get those higher percentage moves, and of course, it's Coinbase, so everybody out there is is watching. If Wall Street Bets was still in its prime, Mike, I bet you they'd be going nuts. They're calling for a squeeze right now or something.
Classic. On another note, I saw a pretty interesting chart the other day showing how about 72% of stocks in the S&P 500 have actually underperformed this year. So that's pretty big, and it's certainly more than the average, historical average, you can say. And essentially all this is showing is that, the winners are winning even more, and the losers and the stocks that have been stuck in the mud are just really underperforming. So it's like, whether you have these big run-ups with the crypto space or the AI space or whatever's hot at the time, it's like when stocks are running, like, they are like really, really running in this market, and it really shouldn't surprise too many of you, and that's kind of been the theme lately, and I don't necessarily expect it to end anytime soon. So, most of the opportunity right now is being concentrated in like a relatively small percentage of stocks out there. And that's fine. That makes it easier for traders every day, because instead of having to search through 300 stocks on a daily basis, it's like, you can go to your like 10 or 20 go-tos.
I know that we've talked about this in private, Mike, but whoever does the weightings, or well, I guess it's Standard and Poor, right, doing the weightings for the S&P, whoever does those are very smart, right? Like, thank God that they are having the weightings that they are, because it's allowed the market to do so well, right? If we had higher weightings on a lot of these stocks stuck in the mud, the market would be stuck in the mud. So it's interesting to see. But on this chart, Mike, I noticed that right before the dot-com bubble, or like the dot-com crash, like, kind of look at how we were at similar territory as today. I'm not saying that we're going to have a crash or that we're in a bubble now, but, some people do bring up AI bubble, or that's definitely been talked about a little bit. So I don't know. It was interesting to me that the last time we were this high was right before that huge crash.
No doubt about that. And, Tom, as we said yesterday, there are basically, and actually literally, like, no stocks reporting earnings this week. So we're all clear on that side of things. For tomorrow, we do have some economic data with initial jobless claims before market open, 1 hour before market open. So that can shake up the market a little bit. But realistically, guys, it isn't anything like jaw-dropping or game-changing. But just be aware of it. And, with that being said, Tom, we're all in the clear for tomorrow, just for some good old price action and setups.
I know, right? Like, there hasn't been much lately either. I know people keep talking about like the 5-year note auction today. The market moved a little bit there. We have a 7-year auction tomorrow, so be ready for that. But yeah, other than that, it's just mainly price action here. And I'll tell you what, it was for some of these stocks, the price action has been awesome. Like AMD had quite the recovery today. It wasn't up like a ton percentage-wise, but that intraday recovery was great. Tesla had a great move, and there were so many of these, like we keep talking about, the Bitcoin stocks that keep really running up, like Coinbase and etc. So there's definitely a lot of fun opportunities out there. I will say this, though. The overall market has been pretty boring to trade lately, Mike. Like, it's been getting pretty flat, and even when there is a good move, it just seems like that, what's the point if you can go trade an individual stock that ran up 5%?
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it. I think the smartest thing to do right now is just find the stocks that are actually moving and hit on those for sure. There's no point in, messing around with the market as it's dilly-dallying around, barely moving at all. Just find the money and follow it. So with that being said, let's get right into some setups for tomorrow. One stock I'm watching very closely is a stock I talked about yesterday, and it's a stock I've been talking about a lot lately, and that is GLD. It made a new recent high today, which is awesome to see. It basically follows gold prices. The price action was phenomenal all day long, and overall, this is like a relatively slow-moving stock, but it is pretty consistent too, so that's always a good thing. But either way, I think it has more room to run, and, it's not necessarily a quote-unquote stock that will move a ton on a daily basis. Like, you're not going to see GLD with a 15% up day, right? But it is relatively consistent, and that's what I really like about it. So it's on close watch to the upside over the next couple days and weeks.
Dang, Mike, GLD is actually really close to that all-time high. Maybe we'll start to see a break here, and maybe the market will go up a little bit too or something, but I thought that was really good to see those metals running up again. So good call yesterday. Got to give it to you on that one. I'm going to go with Tesla here, Mike. Tesla's been pretty good. I've been calling it a few times over the past couple weeks, and it's been doing pretty good to the upside. We go look at a trend line going all the way back to the beginning of 2021. This stock has done nothing but go down for like 2 straight years. Now, there's been some good upside moves mixed in here, but overall, it's been on a pretty bad downtrend. Today, we finally broke that 260 mark, Mike. We've been talking about that on Bookmap a ton. We broke it early in the morning. Look at this. Within this one little volume dot here, there was 283,000 shares traded within that one little dot. And we were talking, remember, this was like an area where there were 300 and something thousand shares stacked up. So it wiped them out, and the stock ended up running up pretty dang good today. So I'm going to keep watching this one over the next few days, Mike. It's starting to break out a little bit, and we all know that whenever stocks like Tesla start to break out, sometimes they start to go on pretty good runs. There are some levels overhead, like 263 and then 264, but 265 is going to be the major resistance I'm looking at here in the shorter term.
Perfect. And if you guys want full access to Bookmap, definitely check out that first link in the description down below. Basically, Bookmap allows you to see exactly where the buyers and sellers are stacked up. And, I don't really have to say much more than that. Bookmap's awesome. Definitely check it out. And if you do want to try it out, definitely use the link in the description below because you will save. But back to the setups for tomorrow. Another stock I'm watching pretty closely is MSOS. Now, MSOS is basically an ETF of a bunch of different MJ companies in the U.S., and this ETF really goes in cycles. A lot of times these types of stocks just slowly fade lower, but every now and then some news comes along or an event or some increased hype or optimism or anything like that. And then this ETF goes ballistic. It had a phenomenal day yesterday, and it has been moving in a pretty bullish way in the grand scheme of things over the past couple months. So either way, I do have some close eyes on this one going into tomorrow. As long as there's a lot of volume and as long as it keeps a lot of pressure on that high of day, it definitely has potential.
Yeah, I like it, Mike. It had a pretty good run over the past couple days. I know today it was down a little bit, but it just seems kind of like one of those natural pullbacks. So I'll keep it on the radar. I know those MJ stocks have been really fun over the past few months. With my next play, I'm going with a weird one, and that is Peloton, up 3.23% today. Started to break that 630 resistance, and it's sitting right at 650, which has been a pretty major level here over the past couple weeks. So if it can break this high around 650, I'll go ahead and look at more bullish potential. And Peloton's been heating up a little bit, Mike. I don't know what's been going on with it. I guess it fell too low, right? I guess, what was it, $2 or $3 wasn't enough? Or $4,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, no doubt about that. But yeah, it definitely has potential, Tom. When this stock runs, it definitely moves in a pretty big way, but it's all about if that volume actually comes in.
Yeah, exactly. But I love the movement short term. It's getting a lot of these nice pushes towards resistance. And if it does break here, it should be a pretty good day overall, maybe up to around 668 to 680. It's not going to be something where you should expect it to double or anything like that. But it will be a fun one for momentum, that is. It usually has some pretty decent moves, especially on the options.
Perfect. All right. Well, with that being said, let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. And with the first one, we have Chewy to the upside.
Chewy was really hot today, at the top of my watch list all day long, closing right at 4%. If they can break above $25 even, go ahead and look at calls tomorrow, right around recent resistance.
All right. And with the next one, we have Google, but to the downside.
Google, yeah, we'll go with the Class A's. Go ahead and make them break under 140 a share. It's right around the low of day today. The low of day was right around 139.90 if you wanted to get specific.
Perfect. And with the last one, we have Tesla for both directions.
TSLA, I love it to the upside here. Hopefully it can keep this momentum up. If it breaks 263.30, go ahead and eye up those calls. If it does end up pulling back, watch for a move under 260. Remember, that was the huge area on Bookmap, so we got to watch that as support now.
Perfect. So we have that downside level for a potential break lower, and we have the upside level for a potential breakout. Keep these two levels in mind for tomorrow with Tesla. And then don't forget about the downside level with Google. and then the upside level with Chewy. These three stocks are only potential trades tomorrow, only if they break the levels Tom listed, as they are momentum plays. But Tom, I think we are all clear for today's monster big money trade of the day. Today we have an $8.64 million trade with KWEB. So for those of you who don't know, KWEB is essentially an ETF of a bunch of Chinese internet stocks. These stocks have been have been taking a really bad beating over the past couple of years, to say it politely. But either way, these stocks kind of move on their own. They don't really follow the U.S. market too much. And a lot of times when there's some panic with U.S. stocks, sometimes we can see Chinese stocks rise like this one. But essentially, the big money bought $8.64 million worth of some call options with KWEB. More specifically, because it is a little bit more of an advanced trade, they bought the KWEB 27 strike calls and they shorted the 32 strike calls, both of which expire on March 15th of 2024. The main thing you need to know is that they're bullish on KWEB. Their max profit is at $32 each, and this trade will begin to be profitable right around that $28 mark. What's worth noting is that this is a call debit spread. If you don't understand how spreads work, or you just want to make your life easy, the 27 strike calls for March 15th of 2024 are fine just by themselves. But either way, Tom, this is a pretty big and bold move to be coming at entering this trade this close to support.
It really is. I mean, that is a pretty ballsy trade. 8.6 million going in here. Who's doing this, right? And it's coming right after China said that they would do the I don't know what they call it, bringing back Taiwan, taking Taiwan, whatever you want to call it, in 2025 or 2027. It seems like the tensions are just starting to heat up a little bit. So I don't know. This is a wild one, Mike, but that is a pretty wild support, though. I'll say this, on a technical basis, like 25 to 25.50, we've seen a ton of bounces around here, and they've went up pretty well from here. So I'll definitely be watching this play, and I think it's a nice one. If it gets back up into that midpoint, up around to like 28, that'll be perfect for him. So hopefully it can get even higher. But yeah, it's a very nice support. Just keep in mind, guys, these are out to March, which is pretty far away. But I'll say this, Mike, if this gets to 30 by March, that'll be one hell of a move.
Yeah, we shall see, but either way, keep a close eye on this one going forward. Obviously, this is one of the bigger big money trades that we have seen in a while. But with everything being said, Tom, I can't believe today is already Wednesday. The week just flew by, but we are set for a pretty exciting end to the year. Looking at the market, we keep making new yearly highs each day, and the market is really trying its best to crack a new all-time high.
Wow, look at this. The QQQ actually just did crack an all-time high here at the end of day. I was kind of waiting for it this morning, but it wasn't really breaking out too much, and now it's starting to, heat up here end of day. This end of day recovery looking pretty good. There's so many stocks up around this resistance. Maybe the market will start to break 476 tomorrow. The high on SPY, guys, all-time high is just under 480. If anybody's wondering, it's like 479.96. So if we do end up breaking this level here at 476.60, I think we'll start to head up towards that 480-ish area, Mike. And it's going to be a wild ride here if these stocks start making new highs too, because we have so many big resistances, like 200 on Apple, 500 coming up on Nvidia. So we're going to have a lot of stocks at these key levels too.
You know it. And then, guys, we are doing our live Q&A and educational event tonight. So in the Stocked Up trading floor at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central, and 6 p.m. Pacific Time. We will be going live. Feel free to join us. It'll be that first link in the comments down below. If you do want to join in on the Stocked Up trading floor, not only do you get access to our weekly live events, but you'll also get access to all of our bots. You could chat with Tom and myself all day long. You get access to the multi-million-dollar big money trades that we talk about in each video, but you get access to them on the same day they are made, and a lot of times that can make for better entry prices overall, the Stocked Up trading floor is the place to be if you're into short-term trading. We have everything you could possibly need, and Tom and myself spend our lives in this chat. So definitely check it out. It's that first link in the comments down below. But besides that, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. And last but not least, I want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, Amberly, in the Stocked Up Discord. She said a great day today in discussion. She made around like $1,600, and overall she's been learning so much, and she's been super dedicated. So huge shout out to you, Amberly, and keep up the great work. And besides that, guys, let's have an amazing end to 2023.